Hey guys, I'm doing a series of videos today. I mentioned on a couple posts yesterday or last night that I was going to do a Ask Me Anything kind of thing. I noticed that people have a lot of the same questions. They post a lot of the same questions, technical questions or usability questions about Tangle Social. So I thought I could maybe help with that by offering to answer any questions that you guys have. And there were quite a few, more than I expected. So I'm gonna make, instead of making one big video, I'm gonna kind of make a few short topical videos, and then you can just focus on the one that you're interested in. Okay. So the first question is the question that I'm least comfortable answering. I always am uncomfortable talking about myself, and so here comes a question from G/Today at Kitchen, and G/Today at Kitchen says, "Could you tell us more about your background? What did you do in the past? How did you come up with the idea of creating the Tangle browser and Millix?" Okay, so since that's not an easy question for me to answer, I wrote out an outline here. And if you don't want to hear the whole story, pause, read it for yourself, and move on to the next video. Okay, but here we go. So as it says, I'll just kind of fill in what it already says. But I was not a good student. The only class in high school that I did well in was an entrepreneurial class where the students got to select a business to start for themselves, and somehow you got funded somehow with I think it was like $200. So within the class you get $200, and they say go figure out what business you want to do, start the business, run the business, and then you do a presentation about what you did. I was good at that. I don't think I knew it at the time, but there was a competition for this class. It was a nationwide class. So my project got submitted to the competition, and I won the state competition, and then I went to the national competition, and I did very well there as well. So I knew that I wasn't good at school, but I had some confidence that I could run a business. So I started college. I didn't get accepted into a good college, so I didn't really go to class very much. I didn't care to buy the books. I knew that I had some talents, but it seemed as if those talents were completely unavailable to me if I wasn't interested in the topic. So I didn't do well in college, but I worked hard. I had 3 jobs, and I liked that. I liked working better than I liked going to class. And I ended up starting a business while I was in college, and the business worked. And so kind of at the point, I was pretty pragmatic at the time, and I basically thought the only reason you go to college is to learn how to do something to get a job and make money. So I was pragmatic about that. I was also a bit cynical about the quality of the teachers. So when this business that I started was paying me more than the professors who were telling me how to earn money, I was gone. I was out of there. And I probably waited too long. I should have left school sooner than I did. It was not for me. One of the things about starting that business was I had to do everything myself. I had a partner who did kind of the sales and the talking to people part, which I was hopeless at, and I was the operations part. And so I had to write software for that business, and I bought Microsoft Access, which was a lightweight database program by Microsoft. and I learned how to build software. Um, and I didn't learn the correct way. I had taken computer classes in high school and university, and I had no idea what was going on in any of those classes. But I was teaching myself to program in my own way. And technically, if it had been examined by a real programmer, they would have laughed. But I was good enough at understanding kind of how to accomplish business things within the system that people that I showed it to, business owners that I showed it to, thought it was great. And my sister was working at Deloitte, Deloitte Touche at the time, but very big, one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. And one of their clients was Microsoft. And I had grown up, both my sister and I grew up in the Seattle area. I wasn't going to college in Southern California. And it happened that Deloitte said to me, we'd like you to write a software program for us. And specifically, we'd like you to write a software program that we're going to use at our customer Microsoft's engagement. So we're asking you to make a software program that we'll use to manage our customer Microsoft. That was extremely exciting for me. That was, to me, like getting called up to the New York Yankees or Real Madrid, right? The opportunity to go to Microsoft and be there on the campus where everything was happening was a dream for me. So that turned into a bigger software business. So by the time I am 26 years old, I've got almost 30 employees. I'm doing more than $1 million a year. I've written software for Deloitte, Microsoft, Boeing, Disney. It was working. It was working until it didn't. I was focused on, when you're young, when I was young, I didn't know exactly what was important, and I thought that growth was really important, so I pushed that too hard, and so that business failed. And when it failed, I took a job at buy.com. I started at the very bottom, even though I've always thought that I've never thought that I could get a job. I never thought that I could interview and somebody would hire me. I don't think that the talents that I have, I don't think they show well on a resume. And so I had all this experience running a multi-million-dollar business with world-class customers, but I just said, I'll take any job you have. I started at the bottom. That was a good decision because I understood problems better than my bosses did because I had been running my own business. So I went from the very bottom at buy.com to the very top in 20 months. I was the youngest director at the company, and as a publicly traded company, a NASDAQ company, I was 29 and the youngest officer or director of that company. The dot-com bubble burst, and I followed some co-workers from buy.com to Flextronics, which is a global manufacturing company. They solve very cool problems. I thought that it would be cool for me to, I felt that I knew at that point a lot about digital systems. I wanted to learn about physical, right? So I took that job. I went around the world, but I was an entrepreneur always and forever. So I always knew that I was going to leave and get back to my business, and I did. And by this point, I'm pretty self-aware of what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and what makes me uncomfortable and what I have to avoid in life. So I start designing my life a little bit, and that's just kind of a part of growing up, I think. So I quit the job just to build my own internet projects, not pursuing customers, but just thinking, I have an idea to build a website, I'll do that. I did that for a couple of years. None of them worked. And the reason none of them worked, I discovered, was that I wasn't good at bringing traffic to the website. So I could have had a great idea, but if nobody can find it or hear about it, it's no good. So I started to focus on internet marketing. I wanted to become expert at driving traffic. So this is, now we're in like 2012. I start doing email marketing. I was very good at it. I was very good at it because you're not talking to people. You're dealing with systems, and it's a game where you're trying to get an email through a filter. And once you do that, then you're trying to get somebody to read the subject line to open the email. And once you do that, it's click and then complete a form and convert and all those things. And that was fun for me, the psychology and the art of that. So I was doing that. I did that from 2012 to about 2016. And you can see in here, while that was going on, I discovered Bitcoin. And I discovered Bitcoin in 2013, and I put all my money into Bitcoin. And I was doing well at the time. I got completely excited about Bitcoin. I bought the domain name bitcoinwallet.com. I bought that with the same partner that I started a business with in college, Alex Sharfin, and he's no longer involved. I've bought him out of that, but we did start that together. But we built and launched bitcoinwallet.com, and then we just kind of let it run. So I was still doing internet marketing. And at this point, I'm doing email marketing, and I'm doing marketing on social media. So Facebook mostly. And I'm gonna talk about that in another video about what makes a good post. So now I'm good at driving traffic, and I now have this new exposure to Bitcoin, which doesn't require permission. You don't have to interview to get involved. You can just do your own thing. And I had realized while I was doing internet marketing that giving something away is easier than asking for someone to pull the credit card out of their wallet and buy something. So that's the type of marketing I was focused on, and that's going to be an important lesson that I learned, and I was good at it. I built a site. Now that I know about traffic, I know about building sites. I know how to get people to behave with marketing in it, like by giving things away for them to do something. I built a site called File.army, and it was an image sharing site that paid you Bitcoin for views. And I knew it was a prototype. It was just a test to see if I could make that work. And it worked well enough for me to think that there was something there. So 2016, I decided I didn't want to do internet marketing anymore. And it's a weird thing because I was making a lot of money doing it, but I had no satisfaction from it. The process of doing it was satisfying, but I knew that as a business, it wasn't leading anywhere. I had cash, but it's an uphill battle from the sense that if you're doing internet marketing on Facebook, they want to filter you. They want to shut down your group. They want to charge you to promote and build an audience, but then not allow you to reach that audience. The domain names want to shut you down. The GoDaddies, they want to shut you down. PayPal nobody wants you to do internet marketing. It's an uphill battle. So I knew that the future of that business was having cash and nothing else. And that stopped being interesting for me. So I decided that I wanted to build, I wanted to make use of everything that I just described. I wanted to have access to a social media platform with a large audience where there was no filter, where marketing was not an uphill battle, where the social network itself was built to encourage marketers and advertisers to come in and engage with the audience by paying the audience, because I knew that was the easiest way to get interaction from an audience. So that is, I suppose, how that's my background, and is how I came up with the idea for Millix and Tangled. And the last thing on this list, I'm going to do a completely separate video later about contribution, and just kind of as hopefully something that's helpful to other people, what I've been taught and what I've learned about how to build wealth through contribution. Okay, so that is my background and how I came up with Tangled and Millix. Okay, talk to you guys later.